In this video, I'm going to give you some tips on getting some quick and easy traffic via Twitter. Now, Twitter is an incredibly important and powerful social media network, and it's one of the largest on the net. It has approximately 316 million monthly active users, and it has about 1 billion registered users. So, as you can see, it is quite extensive. And if one of your tweets gets retweeted by a prominent user and starts trending, then you could get more traffic than you know what to do with, which isn't a bad problem to have. One way to make sure that you get lots of mentions on Twitter is to make sure that your site has a follow us on Twitter button. Or better yet, you can add a Twitter feed to your website. And not only does this make it easy for people to follow you if they want to, but you're also going to be giving them a little taster of the kind of content they can expect if they do follow you. And of course, having a Twitter feed on your website has the added bonus of keeping your website looking active by filling it with new content. So every time you send a tweet on Twitter, it automatically updates your website. A really simple way of accomplishing this is to use the WP Twitter Feeds plugin, which you can install from the WordPress dashboard. And what it does is it basically installs a widget which you can put in the sidebar of your blog, and every time you update your Twitter feed, or every time one of the Twitter feeds that you're following gets updated, then it'll automatically update your website as well, and it does save you a lot of time and hassle. You can install it from within the WordPress dashboard, or you can come here to wordpress.org and then do a search for WP Twitter feeds and then just install it in the usual way. You also want to make it easy for people to tweet about your site or your blog, and a good way to do that is to install the Shareaholic Share Buttons plugin on your WordPress blog. And again, you can install this from within the WordPress dashboard, or you can come to wordpress.org and then simply do a search, or go to wordpress.org/plugins/Shareaholic. You should tweet regularly to Twitter, and your tweets should be interesting and they should tie in to your blog content. And you should include a link back to the post. A lot of people say that you should use link shorteners when you're tweeting on Twitter, but when you want to get people to link back to your website, you want to include the full URL to help you with your SEO, because that will count as a full link. Now, don't make your tweets salesy. You want to make sure that they have a lot of good, useful information for your Twitter followers, because that way they're more likely to get retweeted. So, what do I mean? Well, let's say you have a weight loss blog where you review different weight loss products and then sell them as an affiliate. Let's look at a bad example of a bad tweet. You could say something like, "Get ready for summer with this cool diet aid," and then you've got the URL, #supplements, #fitness, #fat burning. Well, that's very salesy, and people know that if they click on the link and go to your blog, they're just going to get a sales pitch, something that they don't really want. People don't like to be sold to. They like to have information so that they can make an informed decision, but something that's a blatant sales pitch is going to get ignored. So how can you change that? Well, let's take a look at this other example here. You could tweet something like, "This could certainly help me lose my spare tire if this works on humans." And then the URL, #supplements, #fitness, #fat burning. Well, that invokes people's curiosity. People are going to think, if what works on humans? And they might be more inclined to click the article link just out of curiosity, and then they can read the article, and it should be an informative article, not a sales page, and then they may well buy the affiliate product. Another way to get traffic is to retweet tweets from other users that are relevant to your niche, because then that keeps your Twitter feed full of lots of different information. And of course, if you retweet people's tweets, they may well reciprocate and retweet your tweets. Something else that you can do is to use automated tools to keep your Twitter feed active. Now, one way you can really save time when you're updating Twitter is to automate it using a service like Buffer. And what Buffer does is it lets you write a whole bunch of tweets in one go. So whenever you have the time, you can sit down and you can write a whole bunch of tweets ahead of time. And then Buffer will schedule them to be tweeted to your Twitter account at predefined intervals. So you don't have to do your Twitter tweeting in the here and now. You can actually plan it ahead of time and then slowly have the tweets posted automatically so that you don't have to devote a lot of time to Twitter. You can sort of schedule your time much more efficiently. And you can find out more about it at buffer.com. Bear in mind that Twitter works best and generates the most traffic when it's used in conjunction with other social media as part of a larger campaign. In this video, I want to give you an overview about how you go about getting free traffic via Instagram and Pinterest. Now let's talk about Instagram. Instagram is a social network that revolves around pictures. And it's about being personal and keeping people up to date with your activities. And it uses hashtags in a similar way to Twitter. Now let's look at Pinterest. With Pinterest, you create mood boards from a collection of images. And you can share these boards with the world, or you can keep them private. There are a number of similarities between the two applications. First of all, they're both smartphone apps. They both revolve around images. They both can be used to drive traffic to your site for free. They're both good for businesses that focus on the visual or creative side of the web. They're both more popular with women than they are with men. And they're both more for building your brand rather than from direct sales, although you can make some direct sales from Pinterest. Okay, let's talk about Instagram. Instagram is all about sharing pictures, so it's imperative that you learn how to take good photos. Because if you take lousy pictures, it's going to give a lousy impression and people are going to think that you have a lousy site, that you offer a lousy service, or you sell a lousy product. So you want to learn how to take good photos before you start using Instagram. Now, the objective on Instagram is to allow your fans and followers a glimpse into your lifestyle so that they can feel like they know you. And this will build your brand loyalty and your authority. And it's going to make you more likable. And that's going to increase the chance that someone will visit your website through curiosity and ultimately buy something from you. And while the objective here is to provide an honest insight into your lifestyle, though, remember that you also want to appear to be knowledgeable. And if you're promoting a certain lifestyle or a product, then you want to imply that this actually works. Now, Pinterest works in a slightly different way insofar as you're going to use your images together rather than separately. And a lot of people will use Pinterest primarily for researching ideas and getting inspiration. So if they enjoy interior design, graphic design, fashion or fitness, it's likely that they'll have lots of boards relating to that topic. What's more, they'll probably be following some other boards created by big brands in those areas. Now, of course, your objective is to be one of those brands that people follow. And this is a prime opportunity to show off your products, your services, and your website. You shouldn't be too salesy on Pinterest. Like with Instagram, you want to arouse people's curiosity. And you want to vary the types of images and materials that you post on your Pinterest board. Now, there are some key things that you should do on both platforms. First of all, you should post regularly and make sure that you keep posting on a regular basis. You don't want to allow these to go dead. You want to use hashtags wisely, especially on Instagram. It uses the same type of hashtags as they do on Twitter. You want to interact with other users. After all, they are both social networks, and getting people to visit either your Instagram feed or your Pinterest boards has a lot to do with how popular you are on the site, how you put yourself out there. You want a link to your website from both Pinterest and Instagram. And you also want to cross-pollinate with other social media. So, for example, especially with Instagram, seeing as they use the same type of hashtags as Twitter, you could tweet a picture that you've just posted on Instagram, that sort of thing. And you also want to make it easy for other people to share your content. Now, we've only had time to scratch the surface about Instagram and Pinterest in this video. They are both quite complicated platforms, but there are lots of tutorials out there that can help you find out more information. And if you just do a search in Google, you'll find that there's lots of different sites devoted to talking about Instagram and Pinterest, lots of blogs that have useful tips and that sort of thing. So there you go. This is how you can get some traffic via Instagram and Pinterest. In this video, I'm going to tell you how you can use ad swaps for fast, free traffic. Now, this video isn't very long because this method is actually very, very simple. To use this, you're going to need, first of all, an autoresponder service. You're going to need a list of subscribers. You're going to need a compelling offer, and usually that involves a free giveaway, so a free report, free ebook, that sort of thing. And the way that it works is a bit like this. It involves you and another mailing list owner. You contact the other mailing list owner and you set up an ad swap. They send an email to their list promoting your offer, and you reciprocate by sending an email to your list promoting their offer. And this works best when you're both in the same or related niche and you both have similar size lists. In order to make this work, you're going to need a good autoresponder service, and a good couple to consider are Aweber, which you can find here at aweber.com, and MailChimp, which you'll find here at mailchimp.com. If you're looking for ad swaps, a good place to look for them is on the Warrior Forum Joint Ventures section, the Warrior Joint Ventures section, which you can find here at warriorforum.com/warrior-joint-ventures. And as you can see at the time I'm making this video, there is actually somebody advertising here for a JV or ad swap or cross promotion. Obviously can't spell for the Forex niche, but you can also find a lot of ad swaps in the internet marketing niche on this particular site. Now, here are a few tips on running an effective ad swap campaign. First of all, you want to make your ad compelling, short, and to the point. Bear in mind that this is going to be sent to people by email, so you want to make sure that the subject of the email arouses their curiosity, that they don't have to spend too much time reading through the ad, and that there's a strong call to action that gets them to click on the link to go to your site. If possible, you should split test the ad by getting the other party to send the email to one part of his or her list at a time. Now, not everyone can do this. It all depends on what type of autoresponder software they're running or what autoresponder service they're using. But if they can just send it to one part of their list at a time, and you can gauge how effective this ad is, you can tweak it, rewrite it, test it, and then roll it out to the entire list, and you know you're going to get the maximum response. To do this, you need to make sure that you have tracking on your site and a way of measuring how effective your ad is. So you can have, say, Google Analytics or some of the ad tracking software that comes bundled with cPanel. Now, a good way to see how effective your ad is to send traffic to a unique squeeze page on your site or a unique part of your blog, so that you know that only traffic from this particular ad is being sent to that page. And then you can work out how often after the ad is sent that people go there. You'll know how many emails are being sent, so you can work out the percentage, and then you can see exactly how effective your ad is. And finally, don't do this too often. You've got to send an ad to your list advertising the other person's product or service. So you want to make sure that there's not too much advertising. Otherwise, it's going to put people off. They're not going to subscribe to your list. Or if they do stay subscribed, they're not going to bother opening your emails. And of course, that's going to be detrimental to your own business. So there you go. A very brief video, but a very simple way of getting traffic for free to your website. And this, in my experience, is probably the most effective way of getting free traffic to a website or a blog.